I'm a massive fan of Cobra Kai, and I think the show has been consistently great throughout its run. And I thoroughly enjoyed part 1 of season 6, but there are a few things that I didn't exactly love. I've also got some predictions for part 2 that may or may not be answered by the time it comes out, but I want to talk about them anyway. First, I've got to start off by pointing out something that just makes no sense. Why do only the captains get to fight in the finals of the Seikai Taikai? What if the named captain does terrible in their portion of the tournament, but their team still pulls through to a victory? They just automatically get the final fight? Shouldn't the individual competition be elimination style, where the best performing competitor gets to be in the final, kind of like the All Valley? It feels like the current rules at the Seikai Taikai don't really make any sense. I mean, if you're the best fighter on the team, shouldn't you have the shot at the glory, regardless of the title of captain? And another thing about the captains, the process to actually select the captains was absolutely ridiculous. There's no reasonable way Hawk shouldn't have been an original pick for the Seikai Taikai team. Hawk has been doing karate way longer than Dimitri and Devin. He's way more advanced than them, but of course, the contest to decide the team didn't directly translate to karate skill. Let me repeat, the challenge is to choose which members of Miyagi-Do would join the team for the World Karate Tournament did not involve actual karate, especially the final challenge to select the final 2 members of the team. The challenge involved 4 people fighting to get 2 separate flags to win their spot in the tournament. If 3 people went to the left and only 1 person went to the flag on the right, they would be able to earn a spot in the tournament without using any karate, without outrunning anyone, without doing anything. It's not a good measure of talent. And logically, the reigning All Valley champ, who is Hawk, should have been a locked-in spot for this team, and the rest should have been picked by a karate competition. With that being said, we do get some fun action sequences during these silly events, though I would have preferred some more karate action sequences. And it's great seeing Mike Barnes as a referee. I love seeing him on screen. The captain's competition for female captain also led to some really great tense moments and an interesting conflict between Johnny and Daniel. Also, random sidebar, but Kenny should have just took a shit in the woods. He ran back to civilization in front of all of his peers when he knew he was seconds away from shitting his pants. He should have just run deep into the woods, go into the trees, and take a dump in the woods. I mean, survival instincts, kid. Now I'll share some predictions for part 2. I think that Robbie will actually get injured at some point in the competition, and that Miguel will take over as captain and get his big win. But he might not even end up winning. There's a chance that even Miguel could get injured, and Hawk would have to step in and be captain. But hey, I'm just speculating, and let's be honest, Cobra Kai loves to throw some curveballs, so who knows what'll happen. Another thing that is kind of a prediction and kind of an issue I'll have with the show if it goes in a certain direction. Personally, I feel that no one from Miyagi-Do should actually win in the Seikai Taikai. This tournament is a world competition for all ages, not just teenagers, right? Meaning they should be going up against world-class adults who have been training in martial arts their entire lives. None of these high schoolers should stand a chance. Sure, you can go back and see who has won the most fights and shown the most skill, but none of them should be a match for any of the world-class adult athletes at the Seikai Taikai. Plus, I think the blood on Miyagi's headband at the end of part 1 is foreshadowing that someone is going to get hurt. And if that happens, maybe Daniel would realize why Mr. Miyagi was against karate tournaments on principle, and realize winning a big competition isn't worth risking safety. If one of the Miyagi-Do students wins, it'll just be a bit of a stretch. And don't get me wrong, I'd love to see our favorite underdogs win, but it has to make sense, right? Well, that's really all I wanted to hit on today, but what do you think about Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 1? Were you let down by it, or do you think it lived up to the hype? And what do you think is going to go down in Part 2? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. If you watch this long, why not check out my other videos and subscribe? Alright, thanks for listening.